What is going on, everyone? My name is the California Cougar, and today it's that time of the year, baby. It is time for my top 10 best movies of 2019. The top 15 worst movies will come out later this week sometime, don't really know when, but today I'm here to talk about the best movies of 2019. Now, 2019 was an interesting year for movies. There were some really good ones, there were also some really bad ones. Overall, a lot of people said it would be like 1999. I don't really think it even came close to that. I thought it was very disappointing, especially with certain movies. There were some movies that were just straight up bad that we expected to be good. And there were also some movies that were good, just not as good as we were hoping to be. The biggest example of that for me is Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. I saw it, I liked it, I didn't love it, but yeah, anyway, let's get into the top 10 movies of 2019, the overall best movies of 2019. There were a lot of good ones this year, but before I get into the top 10, I have 15 honorable mentions that I want to talk about. So yes, 25 movies in total that made my best of the year list. So let's start off by talking about our 15 honorable mentions. First up, we have Lego Movie 2, the second part, a very solid sequel to the animated original. Not quite as good, but I still really liked it nonetheless. Up next, we have Us, Jordan Peele's follow-up to Get Out. Again, not quite as good as Get Out, I don't think, but still really good nonetheless. Lupita Nyong'o should be nominated for an Oscar. She was so good in that movie. But anyway, up next we have Shazam! One of the better superhero films and easily the best film in the DCEU, at least in my eyes. A lot of people might say Wonder Woman. I think Shazam is better. And it was really funny, too. Zachary Levi gives a very good performance. Shazam was just awesome. Up next, we have Missing Link, the next animated film on the honorable mentions list. And this one is Laika's newest film. Really good overall. Really underappreciated, too. It didn't make a lot of money, like most Laika films. Kubo didn't make a lot of money. I think Coraline was really the only one that made its budget back, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but yeah. Missing Link, nonetheless, really good movie, very overlooked. Up next, we have Long Shot, one of the best comedies I've seen in a very long time. Seth Rogen, Charlize Theron, they're both great, and the movie's really funny. So, yeah, really enjoyed Long Shot, just not enough to make the list. Up next, this one. Oh boy, this one just missed my list. If I were to make a top 15, this one would have been number 11. And for the third straight time, a John Wick movie is number 11 on my best of the year list. I believe the first one was number 11 of 2014. The second one was number 11 of 2017, and now we have this one, which would have been number 11 of 2019. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Such a good action film. Very intense, very good. Such well-shot action. The knife fight. Oh man, Halle Berry's awesome. Keanu Reeves is great as always. Ooh, such a good sequel. And I can't wait for the fourth movie. I really can't. Up next, we have Rocket Man, the Elton John biopic. Basically, even though I love Bohemian Rhapsody, I will admit Rocket Man was the better film. Taron Egerton, I hope he gets nominated for Best Actor. I'd love to see him win as well. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Crossing my fingers. I just want to see him nominated. Please nominate him. If Rami Malek can win, Taron Egerton can get nominated. So come on, Oscars. Anyway, up next we have Spider-Man Far From Home, an MCU film. The 23rd film in the MCU, the follow-up to Avengers Endgame. It was a great movie. Very entertaining. Very funny as well. Tom Holland's fantastic. Zendaya was really good. Oh man, loved Spider-Man Far From Home. Don't think it was quite as good as Homecoming, but still really good. Up next, oh boy, I'm going to get hate for this one because I know a lot of people hate this movie. To me, this is the most underrated movie of the year, and that is the 2019 remake of The Lion King. Jon Favreau's remake. I thought it was really good. Jon Favreau took the if it ain't broke, don't fix it approach. And honestly, I thought it worked off really well. I thought the songs, for the most part, were really good, aside from a couple. I wasn't the biggest fan of Spirit by Beyonce, but I did like the movie a lot nonetheless. The visuals are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's pretty much a shoo-in to get nominated for Best Visual Effects. I don't know if it'll win, but it'll definitely get nominated. But yeah, a lot of people didn't like this movie. I loved it personally. Lion King was an honorable mention. Up next, another overlooked movie. We got The Peanut Butter Falcon. Yes, Shia LaBeouf, probably his career best performance. Also a breakout star by the Down syndrome, the actor with Down syndrome. I don't remember his name. I think it was Zach something. Dakota Johnson. Like, she's good when she's not in those stupid 50 Shades movies. But yeah, anyway, Peanut Butter Falcon, very overlooked, great independent film. Definitely one to check out if you haven't seen it yet. Just missed my list. Up next, Ready or Not. One of the bigger surprise movies of the year, especially since I thought, based on its premise, I thought it was going to be absolute garbage. It was actually really good. It was a badass movie. Really good. Samara Weaving gives a great breakout performance here. Oh, such an awesome movie. Even though the ending was a bit over the top and cartoony, still a really good fun horror movie nonetheless. Up next, we have Blinded by the Light, another overlooked film. This one revolves around a Pakistani guy who lives in London and he listens to Bruce Springsteen. He wants to go see Bruce Springsteen. It's just such a compelling story. Really good. Definitely one of the more overlooked films of the year. Really like Blinded by the Light. Up next we have, oh boy, people are going to be mad that this one's not in the top 10, but there were just some better films this year that I saw. Joker. Yes, Joaquin Phoenix is really good. Definitely worthy of an Oscar nomination. One of the bigger surprise films of the year as well, especially since it's directed by Todd Phillips, of all people. Like, who would have thought? Todd Phillips, a director that I don't like. Really, other than the first Hangover, he hasn't really done anything good. He did this movie, and it was just dark, gritty. Oh, so good. Such a good film. Just not quite enough to make my top 10. Up next, we have Parasite. Now, Parasite is another movie that I'm sure is on a lot of top 10 lists, but again, this one just missed mine. Oh, man. It was intense. It was thrilling. It was kind of scary, too. There's an image in that movie that's just, oh, it's nightmare-inducing. It's absolutely terrifying. But yes, that third act alone is worth the price of admission. Go see it if you haven't. Very good movie. And the last honorable mention is Dr. Sleep. Now, this, to me, is the best horror film of the year. Mike Flanagan. Oh, man, the guy's awesome, really. Other than Ouija, Origin of Evil, like, he's done so many good horror films. I think he's going to be the next master of horror after James Wan. Like, he's just such a good director. And Dr. Sleep, it's not as good as the original Shining, of course, but still a really good follow-up to The Shining nonetheless. So yeah, that's it for my honorable mentions. Now let's get into the top 10. Coming in at number 10 is the first animated movie on this list, and it won't be the last. And this movie, like, I thought the original was so good. People were like, oh, the first movie's overrated. It made so much money at the box office, it's overrated. Yeah, I couldn't disagree more with that. The first movie I think it made my top 10 of 2013. If not, it was damn close. But yes, I love this sequel. And that, of course, is oh yes, Frozen 2. A lot of people didn't like this movie for some reason. Even people that love the first Frozen didn't like this movie as much. I don't really get it. I thought it was a great mix of a darker tone and a lighter tone. I thought it was a great mix of that. The songs in this movie I actually think are better than the first Frozen, believe it or not. Some Things Never Change is my favorite. Into the Unknown's really good. Show Yourself is amazing. Lost in the Woods is hilarious. You Be Quiet, Jerome. I know what you're thinking. But yes, I thought the soundtrack to this movie was amazing. The animation is absolutely gorgeous. Elsa is such a good character. She's one of the best animated characters of this generation. Anna's really good too. Sven, Kristoff, Olaf. Oh, such a great sequel in my eyes. The ending had me tearing up. There are other points that had me tearing up. Yes, Frozen 2, it's so good. Definitely my number deserves to be on my top 10. My number 10 of 2019. Coming in at number 9, another big surprise movie of the year. One of the biggest surprises of the year, especially since I hated the director's first movie. I just was not a fan. And the actor in this movie, he's probably my least favorite actor of all time, especially when it comes to his comedies. But when it comes to his dramas, he can be really good, and he definitely shows that here. I think that's a giveaway for what my number 9 is, and that, of course, is yes, Uncut Gems. Who would have thought A24 made my top 10 of the year? Yes, and while I don't think this film is quite as good as The Disaster Artist, it's pretty damn close to being the best A24 film. It's by far Adam Sandler's best performance. As I said, his comedies suck, but when he does dramas, he can be really good. And honestly, I want to see him win the Oscar. Like, between him and Taron Egerton, it's really close, but I would love to see Adam Sandler win the Oscar just to prove that he can be a really good actor when he does these more dramatic roles. And yeah, it just shows, like, dude, stick to dramas. Enough with these stupid comedies. Just, yeah, stay away from Happy Madison because those are absolutely horrible. Just do dramas, man, because you're really good in this role. Also, Kevin Garnett, man, he was hilarious in this movie. Idina Menzel, also really good. The other supporting cast was great. Really, my only problem with the movie was the ending because I did find it a little bit predictable, especially with something that happens, like, several minutes earlier. But yeah, I thought the ending was a bit predictable. But really, other than that, really solid movie. Definitely redemption for the Safdie brothers because I did not like Good Time. I really didn't. But yes, really good movie. Definitely deserves to be on my top 10. That is my number 9. Coming in at number 8, probably the most overlooked movie of the year. Next to nobody saw this movie. I think it made like $4 million at the box office worldwide or something like that. Nobody saw it. But yeah, it came out earlier this year, like February or March or something like that. It was one of my first A+ movies of the year. That, of course, is... Yes, Arctic. Like, I'm willing to bet none of you that are watching this video right now actually saw that movie. But I thought it was really, really good. It was a great survival film. There's not much backstory, but really, other than that, that's my only problem with it. The cinematography's great. I love the survival story, the character development. It's a good visual storytelling type of movie. There's not a lot of dialogue. Mads Mikkelsen gives one of the most overlooked performances of the year, in my eyes. I thought he was really good. He's one of my best actors of the year for sure. He was so good. And it's a shame that nobody saw this movie because really it deserves like so much more attention than what it got. So yes, if you haven't seen Arctic, do yourself a favor, go watch it. It's a pretty short movie. It's only like 90 minutes long. But trust me, it's worth your time for sure. Go see this movie if you haven't already. That's why Arctic is my number 8. Coming in at number 7, another animated film, and a lot of people would argue that this is the best animated film of the year. For me, it's the second best. There's another animated film that we'll talk about later on. But, nonetheless, this movie, a lot of people doubted this movie. They thought it was going to be a cash grab. But never doubt the power of this franchise. I'll tell you that right now. That should be a giveaway. My number 7 is... Never underestimate the power of the Toy Story series, man. Toy Story 4 is an absolute masterpiece. It's amazing that not a lot of people were looking forward to this. They thought it was going to be a cash grab. But you know what? When it came out, and it got such good reviews, and people said it was a masterpiece, I'm just like, I told you so. I freaking told you so. God damn it. Yes, Toy Story 4 is absolutely amazing. Gabby, oh man, what a character she was. And of course you have Ducky and Bunny, who are absolutely hilarious. Woody, Buzz, oh man, such a good movie. Only real problem was that, like, we didn't get to see much of the side characters like Rex, Slinky, Ham, and all that. But we did get to see Bo Peep return, so that was great. But yeah, oh man, and that ending, oh my god. Like, I don't know where they can go from here if they decide to make a Toy Story 5. Will they make a Toy Story 5? I don't know. I don't really think they should, but that's just me. And if they do make a Toy Story 5, you know what? I'll be looking forward to it. Because again, Toy Story. This franchise really can do no wrong. There's almost nothing wrong with it. It's so good. Toy Story 4 is absolutely amazing. I think it'll probably win Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. Definitely will be happy if it does. Toy Story 4 is absolutely amazing. Deserves to be on my list at number 7. Coming in at number 6. This is a movie that came out later on in the year, and it's, in my eyes, the best comedy of the year. Taika Waititi, man. He's just such a treasure. I believe that's a giveaway for what my number 6 is. Yes, my number 6 is Jojo Rabbit. Oh, this movie is absolutely hilarious. F off, Hitler. Enough said. Enough said. That's one of the funniest quotes of the year. So good. Roman Griffin Davis, is that his name? Oh man, he's definitely a breakout star this year. Great child actor. Thomas McKenzie was really good. And of course you have Scarlett Johansson. Even Rebel Wilson was pretty good in this movie. You know that's saying something. And of course, we can't forget about Taika Waititi as Hitler. Oh, so hilarious. He's absolutely hilarious in this movie. I love the interaction between Jojo and Elsa, Thomas McKenzie's character. Oh, so good. So heartwarming, heartfelt, a lot of heart. That's what makes a good comedy. A combination of a lot of laughs and a lot of heart. You gotta have some conflict in there. Jojo Rabbit has all of that. It's so good. Definitely one of the more I don't think a lot of people saw this movie either, and it's such a shame because it could be nominated for Best Picture, and I can definitely understand why, because it definitely deserves it. That's why Jojo Rabbit's my number 6. Coming in at number 5, this is where we start to get into the really good stuff, but yes, number 5. This is another director that I really like. Yeah, this movie showcases another director's talents. And he did a movie that I personally love, but a lot of people hate it for some reason. I'll give you a hint. It's part of this franchise right here. But yeah, should be a giveaway for what my number 5 is. And that, of course, is... Yes, Knives Out. A great, brilliant take on the whodunit. Like, all that good stuff, like the murder mystery. Oh, man. It's everything Murder on the Orient Express should have been, but wasn't. It was unpredictable. Ana de Armas was really good. Daniel Craig absolutely steals this entire movie. Christopher Plummer's in this movie. Chris Evans, he was fantastic as well. So many good, such a big, good cast. This better be nominated for Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars. I can tell you that right now. If this is not nominated, I'm going to be salty. I will be a salty boy, because this to me is the best screenplay of the year, especially the best original screenplay of the year. So good. Dialogue is fantastic. I loved every minute of this movie. The way it leads up to the end, oh man, couldn't have been better. Rian Johnson's a freaking master with Looper, The Last Jedi. Yes, I said it. I love The Last Jedi. And now this movie, I can't wait to see what he does next, especially with supposedly he's going to be making a Star Wars trilogy of his own. Oh, I cannot wait to see that. I'm so excited. Rian Johnson's one of my favorite directors working today. Knives Out is my number 5. Coming in at number 4, this is where we start to get into the hundreds. Like I gave all 4 of my top 4 movies perfect hundreds, and it was really tough to decide between, like, my 2 through 4 spots especially were really tough to decide, because they're all just so good. They could, like, all 3 of these movies could be interchangeable, but I decided to go with this order. My number 4, starting off with that, is this movie. I had a chance to see 1917 on New Year's Eve before it was widely released on January 10th, which was only a couple days ago, actually. But yes, I'm so happy I got to see this movie early. It was well worth it. Oh man, such a great war film. One of the best war films of this generation. I think it's better than Dunkirk. I'm going to say that right now. I think this movie's better than Dunkirk. I really do. But yes, the cinematography is the best cinematography of the year by far. If Roger Deakins doesn't win, that's a crime against humanity. It really is. He better win that Oscar. He deserves it 100%. The editing was so good. It's like you wonder how Sam Mendes managed to pull this off. It's easily the best directed movie of the year as well. 1917 is a war film for the ages. The performances are good. Even though Benedict Cumberbatch isn't in the movie a lot, like, his role still was vital. Like, he played a big role. And of course, the scene where the main character, where he's like running across the battlefield. Oh man, one of the best scenes of the year. You saw it in the trailer. It's in the movie as well. 1917 is a masterpiece of a war film. I'm going to be seeing it again soon, hopefully. Definitely deserves to be one of the top 5 best movies of the year. It should be on everyone's top 10 list, I think. And this movie could win Best Picture at the Oscars. If it does, I will be very happy. So yes, 1917, my number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have another movie by an overlooked director. A lot of people don't really pay attention to this guy as much. But yeah, he did movies like Logan, Walk the Line, and of course this movie. That should be a giveaway. My number 3 is... Yes, Ford versus Ferrari. Ford versus Ferrari, such an amazing racing movie. And I'm going to say it, I think it's better than Rush. I really do. I think Ford vs. Ferrari is an absolute masterpiece. It's 2.5 hours long. It absolutely flies. The editing is just so good. I hope it wins Best Editing. I really do. Between that and 1917, I hope one of those wins. And of course, the sound design is absolutely amazing. That final racing sequence alone is worth the price of admission. Christian Bale, I hope he gets nominated for Best Actor. Matt Damon was really good. The fist fight between Christian Bale and Matt Damon was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. This movie's really funny. It's so good. Ford versus Ferrari. James Mangold, he's a saint, man. He really is. Especially after Logan, Walk the Line, 3:10 to Yuma. Now this, he's so overlooked. Not a lot of people pay attention to him or his movies, but it's such a shame. I wish he was getting more award consideration, especially for Best Director at the Oscars, because he really deserves it. It's a shame that he's not. It really is. But yes, Ford versus Ferrari. It's 2.5 hours. It flies by just like that. Also, I think it was Matt Damon. Matt Damon trying to land a plane. Hilarious. So yes, Ford versus Ferrari is my number 3. Definitely deserves to be in everyone's top 10. Absolutely loved it. So that leaves number 2 and number 1. And now, I think my number 1's pretty obvious, but number 2, this is the 3rd animated film on the list. And to me, this is the best animated film of the year by far. I absolutely loved it. The whole trilogy is an absolute masterpiece. To me, it's the greatest animated trilogy of all time. And even if Toy Story 4 hadn't come out, I still would say that this trilogy is the greatest of all time. So yes, my number 2 is... I feel like a lot of people forgot about this movie when they were making their top 10 list, because I barely see it on any top 10 list or even in honorable mentions of any list. And it absolutely baffles me, because How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World is one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful looking animated film I've ever seen. The cinematography is great. Once they get into the hidden world, oh my god, it's absolutely breathtaking, especially in 3D. It's a movie that needs to be seen in 3D. It's so good. The ending, oh my god, I was bawling like a baby. Toothless, man. Oh, he's such a good character. He's the greatest dragon in any movie ever. I'm just going to say that ever. I'm just going to say that now. He's the greatest movie dragon ever. And of course, Hiccup, Astrid. Oh, man. It's such a tear-jerking movie. The Light Fury, the interactions between Toothless and the Light Fury. Great use of visual storytelling right there. How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World is a freaking masterpiece. I really don't get... a lot of people seem to be disappointed by this movie. I really don't get it at all. To me, How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World is a movie that deserves to be seen by everybody. It's an animated masterpiece. It's a great conclusion to the best animated trilogy of all time, in my eyes. Oh, man. I just get misty-eyed thinking about this movie. I really do. And yeah, they don't need to make a 4th one. They really don't. From what I've heard, they're not going to make one. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's going to work for the better. But man, I'm going to miss these dragons, man. I am really going to miss these dragons. Yes, How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World is my number 2. definitely deserves to be on my best of the year list, which leaves us with number one, and I think it's pretty obvious at this point, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. My number one best film of 2019 and one of my best films of the decade is... I mean, come on. Did you really think that it was going to be anything else other than Avengers Endgame? Come on. Like, I have the freaking poster right there. So, yeah, and I have this poster right here. I mean, come on. Avengers Endgame. How could that not be my number one? It's a culmination of the previous 21 Marvel films. Everything leads up to this. It's 3 hours long. It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like maybe 2 hours 20, 2 hours 30 minutes at the absolute most. And, of course, there's just so many great moments. You have the Avengers all going back in time to retrieve the Infinity Stones. I mean, everyone's seen the damn movie by now. If you haven't seen this movie, you've got to be living under a rock, because it made $2.8 billion at the box office. Highest grossing movie of all time. Yeah, Avatar, sit down. Sit your ass down. James Cameron, you overrated has-been. Yeah, trying to be fake with his congratulations message. Yeah, give me a break. This is the highest grossing movie of all time. I could not be happier that they chose this movie. It's one of the best movies of the decade, for sure. Easily the best movie of the year. And this got the Frozen treatment hard, man, and it pisses me off. Like, how? How do so many people hate this movie? Oh, because it made so much money at the box office? People are salty that their precious Avatar got dethroned? Yeah, give me a break. But, of course, yeah, let's talk about the movie more. Robert Downey Jr. deserves an Oscar nomination. It's such a shame he's not going to get one, because he really deserves it. He really should get one, but I know he's not going to. And I know that the DOFs at the Oscars aren't going to give this movie any attention other than best visual effects, because they're a bunch of pansies. They like to play it safe. So, yeah, screw you, Oscars. I already know that you're going to snub the living hell out of this movie. Because, yeah, you're a bunch of pansies and you like to play it safe and you like to go with your boring Oscar bait DOF, jizz-loving, garbage Oscar bait crap that you always do every year. But Black Panther got nominated. You know why Black Panther got nominated? Because of the political agenda. That's why. So, yeah, Avengers Endgame, greatest cinematic third act ever. Like, definitely up there for sure. You have Avengers Assemble, I Love You 3000, and of course, we can't forget I Am Iron Man. Boom. Just so many amazing moments. And of course, Tony Stark's funeral. It's so fitting. And even Black Widow's death. That was emotional too. Like, I could gush about all the amazing moments of this movie and how the 21 previous films all culminated up with this movie. Captain America retiring. Just, so many great moments. So many unforgettable moments. Captain America wielding Thor's hammer. Oh, man. I've seen this movie so many times, and I never get tired of it. The first time I saw it in the theaters, it was like a baseball game. People were just cheering so many times, left and right. And, of course, once the credits started rolling, like, the whole theater gave a standing ovation, and rightfully so, because this movie it's more than a masterpiece. It's an achievement in superhero films. And it's an achievement in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Martin Scorsese. Yeah, I'm not letting that one go. Stupid idiot. But yeah, like, it's an achievement in superhero cinema. Oh, so amazing. So unforgettable. I don't know why this movie got the Frozen treatment. I really don't. It pisses me off that it did, because there's not enough good things I can say about this movie. So, with that being said, Avengers Endgame deserves to be my number one best movie of 2019, without question. Like, it really wasn't close, especially after I saw this movie so many times. But yeah, Avengers Endgame is an absolute achievement in superhero cinema. If you haven't seen it, you're living under a rock. Watch this movie. Trust me, you will not regret it. Especially if you've seen the other MCU films. So yes, this is the best movie in the MCU. Definitely deserves to be my number one. And there it is, guys. There are my top 10 movies of 2019. Man, it was a pretty interesting year overall, but so many good movies. Avengers Endgame is awesome. Dragon 3 Hidden World is great. Rocket Man. Just so many good movies to come out this year. And I hope everyone's seen most of these movies, if not all of these movies. But yeah, what are your top 10 movies of 2019? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below. And what do you think of my list? Do you agree with my picks? Do you disagree with some of my picks? I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree, and that's okay. Just don't be a dick about it in the comments. But yeah, make sure to leave down below what your top 10 movies of 2019 are, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos to come in the future. My top 10 worst movies of 2019 will be up sometime later this week, and I'm thinking about making that a top 15. I believe I mentioned that earlier in this video. But yes, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more on that to come this week. And of course, I'm going to be reacting to the Oscar nominations tomorrow. Yay! Can't wait for Avengers Endgame to get completely shafted other than Best Visual Effects. I already know that's going to happen, and I'm going to be pissed, and I'm going to boycott the freaking Oscars if they do. So, yeah, make sure to stay tuned for that. Make sure to hit thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed it. And, yeah, again, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos to come in the future. And until my next video, once again, my name is the California Cougar. And always remember to stay California cool. Peace.